more Cuphead. Translating the show from the video game, how quick was that process? How slow was that process? You know, how long did it take you to develop and figure out how you're going to make the video game into a show?
That is a great question, and as the time goes by, it all gets more and more hazy to me. It seemed like we had about so they wanted to make a series, and there was this big auditioning process that went on to find a showrunner, and I eventually tricked them into making them think I was the right guy for that. And then we started, I don't know, I started a couple months before everyone. I started doing a little Bible where I just started thinking about their personalities of the characters and what would make, there was a little storybook thing that was at the beginning of the video game where it had Cuphead and Mugman living with their elder kettle at this little cottage in the middle of the woods. And it's this really sort of beautiful, serene life, and then Cuphead and Mugman kind of venture out and find a casino in the woods, which I love, that there's this big giant casino. And it's it was pretty clear that Cuphead sort of longed for more adventure and fun. So we took our cues from that, really. And Mugman was the one that was a little more trepidatious and freaked out about the consequences. And that was kind of the jumping off point. So, I just started kind of developing, thinking about the characters and thinking about how that would work. And then from there I was also hiring people at this time and bringing in Cosmo started about that time, who was our co-EP. He's also the voice of Porkrine in this thing. We did a storyboard and hired the cast, started finding, we just did so well with our casting. These guys were all, every member of the cast was fantastic and brought so much to these characters.
And Dave, could you introduce who just joined us on stage?
Oh yes, this is Zoe Moss. She's our storyboard artist, and I think you worked on 2 of these, right?
Yeah.
2 of the episodes?
Sweet Temptation and the second half of the Christmas tree.
Right.
I don't know the name.
Holiday
I
Tradition.
knew the name.
Right.
And is that the one that won the Emmy? Or which one was that? Was it a holiday themed one that won the Emmy?
It was the holiday. It was A Very Devil Christmas was the episode that was
that was
submitted.
classic.
But it was kind of directing for the whole series, really, because it was Adam and Clay that both won.
Yeah.
And they did they alternated every other episode.
Cool. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and open it up to Q&A. So I'm gonna go around, hand you the mic. So raise your hand, and we'll have you guys answer your question.
Alrighty, so this has been a burning question in my head ever since the Annecy trailer back in 2020. This is directed towards Dave, actually. So, where did the goat come from? Where in production were you guys were yeah, there's just gonna be a goat in their front yard. It just chills there. But by the way, Frank, you are the goat as the goat.
Exactly, he is the goat as the goat. Actually that was one of Cosmo's idea. Just out of nowhere, he was I think they should have a goat. And I'm what do you mean? What's your idea for the goat? He's I don't really have one, but I think they need a goat. And so the goat was born. And that's really it. And then sort of over time, we figured out what to do with the goat, what the goat's personality was. But it just kind of started out as simple as that. Yeah.
So, I think I remember online, like, you guys named the goat. What? Pitchfork. It's a little kind of like predetermination there for what happens later. This is meow meow, I suppose. But I like that. I like Pitchfork. What's that? It was. Oh. So then that's canon. So, yeah. Buddy Cop spinoff.
I do. I can't.
Should I just stand up and project? First of all, I just want to say a huge thank you for adapting the show so well from the game. My son, who's about to turn 8 years old, is properly obsessed, and also he's home/unschooled. And Cuphead has actually been a huge source of curriculum in the last few months for him in terms of learning about animation and drawing himself and reading some of the scripts, and then little YouTube videos of the voice cast, because we're so curious about how cartoons are made and all the different things that go into it. So it's been this really rich, wonderful world. And then all of a sudden I see that Priya Cinema is going to host this, and we were like, oh my God. So thank you so much for doing all of that. Everyone's work is so appreciated in our household. And I know that we had 2 questions. My daughter could not be here because she's sick. She's also Cuphead obsessed. Her favorite is the devil. Obviously, he is love. The 2 questions very quickly that we had from my kiddos. Would you like to ask the question, Lizard? Do you remember what your question was? Okay. No. We wanted to know what your favorite episodes are, what your favorite episode is, and if everyone could just answer that. And then my daughter wanted to know, I actually don't remember what my daughter wanted to know, but what is your favorite episode?
Oh man, let's start at that end.
Well, this might be obvious.
Yeah. Sweet Temptation.
I'll say Sweet Temptation for the thank you. I would personally say Sweet Temptation because for me personally, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity because I've always wanted to do voices, and it was also one of the first bosses that I beat in the game.
Yeah.
So when the episode came to Carl, who was my partner at the time on the show, we were like, oh my God, we know what to do with this. This is the coolest thing ever. So that's me.
Following suit, I will say my favorite episode is
Dirt Nap.
okay. My biggest episode,
Dirt Nap.
Dirt Nap, which is they mistake, Elder Kettle mistakes himself for their pet worm, which dies. And if you've seen the episode, I get to do a lot of fun stuff, screaming and yelling, and that was a lot of fun. That is my favorite that I'm in. My favorite that I'm not in, I would probably say, a Very Devil Christmas.
It seems like we always just beat the heck out of you, Joe. Anytime we had Elder Kettle screaming, we would set him on fire and hit him with stuff. And Joe was always screaming, and it was always so much fun, those recording sessions.
It was. It truly was. And
I was always afraid we were going to kill him. He would be turning bright red as he was like, ah!
the biggest scream, the one that I am most proud of, is from an episode called Baby Bottle. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, Baby Bottle.
Dave was saying, okay, now when the baby rips your mustache, we need a blood curdler here. Because the other ones, have just been, like that. And so I did one, and Dave's like, yeah, that was good. And I knew it wasn't good. For me, I knew it wasn't good. I knew he had to come down from the toes. So I said, I got one more in me. He said, well, you want a drink first? I said, yeah, I'll have some bourbon. No, so I had a little drink of water, and it came out, and Dave just was like, yeah, no, that's good. We're going to stop there. That's it. You nailed it. And that meant a lot to me. That was Miami. Anyway.
My favorite episode is actually Dirt Nap, too. because I love when Elder Kettle is just getting blown up from each side of the room. I like audibly laughed. I always say this, but it was just hilarious to me. So Dirt Nap is my favorite song.
Oh, the Ice Cream Man, the Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man or High Seas Adventure?
My favorite episode is the only one I'm not in. Very Santa Christmas. That's like become now like one of the new yearly holiday like specials when you watch it. It doesn't even matter the fact that I'm in the show. It's beautiful. Secondary, I would say Ghost Ain't Real. Because when I saw them turn pink and climb the stairs and these weird like pink elephants on parade, kind of Technicolor green, man, tear to my eye. It was so cool. It's that whole sequence. I love it so much. That's my answer. Sticking to it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was like, I mean, I've wanted to do like a really spooky ghost cartoon like forever. So I feel like there's a lot of people in animation that felt that way. I feel like Adam wanted to do it, Deaky. I mean, like pretty much everybody on the whole crew, I think, like needed to get that out of their system. And they've been dreaming of doing a cartoon like that for years. So yeah, that was really great. It's impossible for me to say. I love the first episode that we did that set everything up. Like that was like so much fun, and like figuring out like, because that's like where we were really like, you know, putting out their personalities for the first time, demonstrating that, and sort of showing like what hell was like for the devil, and that whole surreal sequence like running through when the devil's chasing them through the carnival. That's great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ghost Ain't Real was a big one for us, and yeah, the Christmas special for sure, A Very Devil Christmas, because I was doing the voice of the henchman, and when we originally started that, it was like he was just going to be this little secondary character that was there for the devil, but not really. I never really imagined he would have like a very big part. And then by the time we got to the Christmas special, yeah, it's like he'd sort of developed into a real pretty big supporting role. So it was super fun getting to play that, and yeah, that one really is probably like a huge career highlight for me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Norman, did you dress up as henchman yeah? See, you would have a cosplayer here who dresses up as your dad. It's
Great costume, so cute.
So cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? So, where did Bull Boy come from? Was he a one-off
Hell.
Was it just supposed to be a one-off gag and handled with care, or was he always part of the messed up equation?
Yeah, great question, and that's exactly what happened. It started off as it was just going to be like a gag. Originally, like Deaky had written in the script, I think, where he said, you know, he's like, I'm a mug, I'm not a bowl, I'm not Bowl Boy. And then I thought, like, just in the writing session, it was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Bowl Boy showed up? Then he was like, I think he looks swell. And we all thought that was really funny, and that was sort of where he started off in his first appearance. And then we had this idea for a story where another brother, where Cuphead would sort of get sick of Mugman and then trade him out for another. He would find somebody else that was more like reckless and rambunctious. And originally it was going to be kind of a big dumb plate. That was just something like I think Cosmo and I kind of brainstormed on, and we had that much of it. And then Deaky went away, and when he did his card pitch, it had become Bowl Boy, which was so much better than what we'd originally come up with. So yeah, that's how Bowl Boy came to be. And if the series had gone on, Bowl Boy was getting weirder and weirder. There was another story that we didn't get to finish, but like Bowl Boy he was getting sort of exponentially more psychotic.
Oh, at least I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's Bowl Boy.
from when it was first announced, a hand-drawn cell-to-cell thing. I remember getting the sides for it. I knew exactly what it was. It's like, when I got casted, it felt like time travel. Like you're going back in time to like originate a character that probably could have been made over 100 years ago. But I did play the game. And was very bad at it. Like, phenomenally bad. Like, I didn't get past, like, the first, I don't know, I walked out of Elder Kettle's cottage and just died. But I think I don't know. So they had us come in and play it after the show was coming out, True Night. And we're both comedians, they're like, just play this and riff and do something, whatever. We were both so bad at it that we just died. And we were just riffing on dying. And a woman comes out and says, I'm sorry, this is too depressing. So they had to have a video of someone else who had played earlier and that they're playing this, and they're just doing this. And so that's why I like, if you watch your videos, at one point I'm like, this is gonna take crackerjack timing! I'm just kind of standing there. So yes.
So you guys were riffing over somebody else playing it, right? Like were you watching what they were doing and then sort of like riffing over that?
I think at first we were playing, but we were so bad at it that it was just us dying. So they were like, well, we need to progress this a bit more. So then, yeah, they have the footage of someone else playing.
That's cool. Zoe, you're a gamer though, right? Like you
such games. Sorry. No, I do enjoy games, and I have tried to play Cuphead with my husband Jacob, and we have together gotten to a certain point. But then I'll never forget. Like it's so hard. And I would get so kind of jealous of the other board artists who had beat it, like Carl, and I think his partner, and like everybody who wasn't me, it felt like had beaten it already. But I'll never forget Grim the Dragon. I was playing that level for nearly a full 4-hour plane flight. And I think within the last hour, I beat it, and I just remember like, yes! But Jake's asleep, and I can't scream because I'm on the plane.
Also on a plane.
So I went to work the following day, like, you guys are gonna be excited. On a plane.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I have to confess, I can't play it. I tried a little bit. But yeah, it's way hard, and I have to say, like the Moldenhauers, I saw a making of when they were doing a making of the video game, and even they're trying to play their own video game and can't play it very well, so I felt pretty good about that. Yeah, they're like, we made this way too hard, so I'm like, okay, good. If they can't play it, then I don't need to play it. And in interviews, like someone asked me, like, do you have any tips for playing the game? And I'm like, yeah, it's all online. You can just watch it on YouTube. That's my tip. You don't have to play the game. Just enjoy it on YouTube. So, yeah.
I do have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Getting to work on the show, and to the extent also getting to watch the show, is so cathartic, because both the best and worst part about the Cuphead game is, oh my God, somebody actually got the Fleischer look right, but I can't always appreciate it because I'm always dying. And so getting to enjoy it through the show has been both like funny, but also seriously, it's been amazing.
That's cool. I have heard that, yeah. People enjoy just watching it because it's like they can actually sort of sit and enjoy it. They're not trying to do two things at the same time. And yeah, I mean, I was super aware of the video game, like not even being a gamer, because they did such an amazing job with the quality of sort of reproducing that look of the 30s that it was like, yeah, I was blown away by it and knew about it even not being a gamer. So that's what a great job they did with the game. So yeah, there.
Anybody else have a question? So my question is for Dave. So ever since the first trailer, I noticed all the incidental characters seem to be pulled almost directly from different sorts of period. And you played the telephone. Was that inspired by the one in Through the Mirror?
Through the Mirror. That Mickey short, right? I have to be honest. Like there were multiple people contributing to it. I think it was probably inspired by. I mean, that's what phones looked like back then. And so I know what you're talking about. There's one where like Mickey Mouse starts like the phone takes its own cord and starts doing like a jump rope thing. And I think, we were really looking at like, we wanted it to feel like a cartoon that might have been made in the 1930s. So we had them like listening to radio programs and like we wanted the props to feel like they were of that time. So, that's a long answer for like, I'm not really sure. Oh, good. I mean, that just sort of, that's like, when you're working on a series, you kind of do something like we were talking about with Bow Boy, and then it kind of evolves. You get another idea for, wouldn't that be great if it was this? So initially, like when everybody was getting their souls back in that pilot episode, it went back in and it just seemed like it'd be really funny if you just went, yay. And so I did that, and then, I don't know, like it just from that, the ball started rolling with that character. So, did I answer your question?
So, Pitchfork and the Telephone, Buddy Cop Show, spin-off. Coming soon to ABC.
Yeah.
Must see TV.
Let's do one more, and then after we'll go to the lobby. Got the book.
I wanna.
Get something signed by them. It'll be available.
Yes.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah.
Out of all of you, which level from Cuphead do you think is the hardest?
Yes.
It's gotta be Dr. Cow.
The loading screen.
When I first saw it, the one I saw was the root pack, and I'm going, this looks so incredibly hard. And everybody said, no, Joe, that's the easiest level.
The grind.
I didn't, I don't know. I couldn't play it. My Flintstone fingers couldn't handle it anymore.
The Callie Maria level is the last one I touched. So and she's very hard. So
I could beat her.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want to keep at this, see more Cuphead episodes, see more Fly Show episodes, please come out, tell your friends. I can definitely ask them again to come down and hang out. But thank you all so much again. We'll go to the lobby. I got the posters for sale. If you guys want to hang out, ask more questions of these guys, feel free. Thank you all so much again. Let's keep it.